Hey, what's up, guys? Super excited about this upcoming episode with my business partner and head of marketing here at Contractor Dynamics, Tim Conley. We're going to be answering the question that I see all the time in the Facebook groups and in other places online of where do I find the best leads? Like, where's the best place to get roofing leads these days? So Tim and I are going to spend some passionate minutes diving into this topic, and basically we're going to flip this question on its head, because that is not the right question you should be asking. There are more productive, more quality, more pointed questions that you should be asking if the goal is to grow your roofing company and get more amazing customers that you want to work with, get more of those ideal projects that you want to work with, and not just any old lead that comes your way. If that's your goal, is to grow your company, then there are better questions to ask, and we're going to dig into that in this episode. We're going to answer the question that so many people are asking: where's the best place to find leads? Like, where do I get those magic leads? You ready to dig into that, Tim?
Man, I am always ready to talk about lead gen.
And especially in the roofing industry, right? It's all about leads. Yep. It's such a hot topic. And we really, the motivation to record an episode on this topic is to really provide an insight and education that's just missing. So it's not that people are coming at it from a bad place. Like, everyone, I believe, is coming at it from a good intention. Like, hey, I run a roofing company. I've got these sales guys, this sales team. I need to find them leads. I've got this great system. I just need more leads. Like, everything in my business is just humming along perfectly. We just need to get in front of more people. And so you see people in, maybe it's on LinkedIn or Facebook and whatnot in the groups asking, like, hey, where's the best place to find leads? And there's all these different answers. Everyone comes out of the woodwork trying to sell you their thing, their magic funnel, their this, their that. And I think what's missing is this education part of, like, maybe you're not asking even the right question. Maybe you need to step back a little bit and reassess the question that you're asking. So I really want to dig into that today.
Yeah, it's a great topic, and one of the things that I think we'll get into is people are always out looking, trying to get leads. They're seeking them instead of being found. And that's there's a key distinction between seeking business and being found by the business that you desire. Yeah,
I like to look at it in terms of, don't try to go out and get people to do business with you. Position yourself as the company that people want to do business with. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Tim?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So it's about positioning. It's not about going to chase people down and trying to convince them that they need your services or products or that they should be doing business with you. It's about building your brand up to such a strong position where the people in your market that need your services, they're going to think of you, they're going to seek you out, they're going to call you, they're going to message you, they're going to find you. All right. So I've got some strong thoughts on this. I want to hear your thoughts on this, Tim, first, because I know you have some strong thoughts on this. We've talked about this at length over the past several years. What's your response to a roofing company owner? Maybe it's a new owner, maybe it's someone who's been in business several years, doesn't really matter, going into a Facebook group and asking, hey, where's the best place to get leads these days?
Okay, it's the wrong question. It's a question built out of sales and probably scarcity thinking, where they're like, I need to make money today, and that happens. Like, when you're starting a business, that's a big question. If you've been in business for a while and you're still asking that question, you've built some, bad systems into your company. But really the question is not so much where do I get the best leads, because there's no such place. No such place actually exists anywhere. The best place is wherever your brand attracts the business that you're after. And it's not one place, it's usually many places. And then figuring out how to optimize each of those places.
All right, so you touched on the big B word, the brand word, getting to a point where your brand is attracting people. Can you dig into that a little bit? So if someone's like, okay, I kind of get the concept of that. What does that mean exactly? What do I do?
Well, one, it's not making your logo bigger. I tease our members all the time about them sticking their logo on everything, and it's like way out, and it takes up most of the space, and nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares about that. And I also try to educate them on that their logo, it should be at the end of their video. It should like follow a Nike commercial. You only see the swoosh. You only see Nike at the end of the commercial. They don't sit there and put it on the video the whole time. Their print ads only have like a small logo. They don't go crazy with it because they know that that's not the important part. The message is the important part. So your brand is really about what message are you putting out to the market. And what we see is a lot of people put out, I'm a roofing company and I can give you a free inspection. Like, that's the message. And that's not a message that a customer actually cares about. The only people who look at that and go, okay, I'll do it, are people who are in a desperate need and are going to look for price because they're not differentiating based upon message. They're not differentiating based upon what that company can do. So the first person who shows up with a good price is usually the person who gets that business. But that's only a tiny fraction of all the business that exists out there.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on Nike, and just if you're struggling, if you're a roofing company owner, you're struggling to think about this concept of why wouldn't I buy leads? Think about Nike. Like, Nike doesn't buy leads. Apple doesn't buy leads. The hot restaurant in town, your local town, they don't buy leads. They cook good food. They provide great service. Maybe they do some marketing on social, get people to remember their restaurant and everything, but they're not going out and buying leads. So like, hey, can I pay $20 per couple to get someone in my restaurant tonight? Like, that would be awesome. That's kind of the roofing mentality. So think about that. Like, be the company that people want to come do business with. Don't try to chase people around and just look and sound like every other roofing company out there. So Tim, we're getting into marketing. I know we've got some other awesome episodes on this marketing topic. I want to bring it back to this whole concept of leads. So we got this guy. Let's call him Frank, the roofing company owner. He's looking for leads on Facebook. So you're not asking the right question. So you want to be the brand that people want to do business with. What's the problem with going out and buying leads from Home Advisor or like a lead broker that's selling you packages of leads, or Angie's List, or any number of places, even trying to extract like leads, like $40 leads from Facebook, for example. What's the problem with that? Okay,
the number one problem when you're looking at any of those lead aggregators or lead generators is that they have a generic lead gen system. Your company name never mentioned. So they go out and they try to generate as many leads as they possibly can. And their definition of a good lead is not your definition of a good lead. And if you've bought them, you know this. Like, we had a guy talk to us at one of the conferences, and he said that he got charged, I think it was like $80 to $100 for a lead that turned out to be roofing a backyard shed. It was like an 8x8 shed, and the person wanted to have that re-roofed, and he paid up to $100 for that lead, and he complained about that lead to the company, and the company said it was a re-roofing job.
That's a great point.
Right? And that's one that actually was a roofing job. They get a lot of leads that it's like somebody who lives in an apartment. like, why did they fill out a generic lead form? What was their impetus for doing this? And that's not a good lead. There's lots of those. So you buy 10 leads, and out of those 10 leads, 7 of them might be partially qualified. And then out of those 7, you might have 1 that's an actual qualified lead. But many of these organizations sell that lead to 3 and upwards of 6 different companies at the exact same time. Because one of the things they know is most people never follow up on the leads they get. And those who do so a day or 2 days later. And if you don't follow up with these generic leads within an hour, literally within an hour of them being generated, which you may not have gotten that lead from the company within an hour of it being generated, those people have completely forgotten that they have actually filled out that lead form.
Yeah, it happens all the time. And even if you do get that qualified lead, that quote unquote qualified lead, your sales process is still going to be an uphill battle because that prospect has no idea who you are.
Yep.
To them, you're just they put in their information and your roofing company got somehow spit out on the other end. And to them, you're a roofing company. It's like, hey, give me the best price you can.
Yep.
They have no idea who you are. So when you're buying leads, this is why you're always going to be frustrated when you're buying leads. You're going to get these cold leads of people that have no idea who you are, why you're different, why they should pay you for the value that you provide. Why you're like a legit company and you didn't just start up last week. They have no idea. So you're feeding these leads to, maybe it's yourself as the owner if you're just starting out, or you're feeding them to your sales team, and they're going to get super frustrated. They're going to burn out on these crappy leads and they're going to leave. And you're going to be like, what? I'm providing you with leads and you're not producing, you're not closing, you're not good at your job. They're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. It's just like, it's a race to the bottom.
Yep.
Our students and roofing companies, people listening to us, that they know that, yet they still continue to buy leads because they just don't know any other way. And that's where my passion comes out, because I want to educate on that there is another way. We want to educate that there is another way. You don't have to subscribe to these lead gen services and these lead packages and everything like that. That's not the only way to do business. It's actually going to drive your business into the ground.
So let me interrupt here for a second. This kind of gets to the question, like, we're really bagging on buying leads. But is lead generation a problem? Absolutely not. There's no reason that you have to not generate leads, but you should do it yourself. You should have your own lead generation system. So let me go into a couple of secrets of lead generation. There's this thing called CPA out in the internet. It's cost per action. And so there are marketers out there who make a website, and they generate these leads and they sell them to companies like Home Advisor. They sell them to all these different other lead aggregators who then sell them to you. So there's people who generate these leads called cost per action. They have a website that they've built and they've optimized it to show up in your city. And then they sell those leads to someone else. Now, you can do the exact same thing. You could have your own branded lead generation system, your own cost per action system that's branded to you. So every lead that comes through that system knows that they're talking to you, that they're filling out information for your company. That should be a piece of your marketing strategy.
Absolutely. You should be home growing your leads for sure. I mean, Tim, can you imagine running our company, Contractor Dynamics, and just buying leads from people that are opting in to like receive information about marketing companies? I close up shop today and go get a job. Like, that would be miserable.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that. Like, everyone that we talk to, that our sales team talks to, are people that are opting in to say, I've seen your content at Contractor Dynamics. I've seen something that hits a note as far as where I'm at, the problem that I have, where I'm looking to go. And I want to talk to you guys because I think at some level you guys might have a solution for my problem. And that's an amazing conversation to have because we can provide value to a prospective client, to a roofing company owner, whether or not we do business with you, whether or not you jump into our program or not. We can provide value because it's a valuable conversation to have. We're not talking about price, until maybe you want to come on board, and then we can go through the details there. But I can't imagine just like sifting and through a whole bunch of cold leads to try to find those people that are maybe legit.
Right.
One of the things that you brought up before, and I've used it here and there, I'll kind of drop this little nugget on social media once in a while, and it's this thought process. It's like, hey, if you're a roofing company owner, let's say in Atlanta, and there's someone in some call center 2 time zones away that can get better leads for your roofing company than you can, then you've got a serious problem. Like if there's someone in a call center that's maybe 22 years old, they just found out about the roofing industry 2 weeks ago, or maybe 2 days ago, and they're calling homeowners and property owners trying to generate leads, and they're sending those leads to you. Like there's something seriously wrong with that picture, right?
Right. What that does is it puts you in a position of highlighting that you don't have a brand. Like you are a laborer, and someone else is the business builder. And every business owner, every manager, every salesperson inside of a company is a business builder, or should be. And they need systems to allow them to build those leads, the thing that actually creates the business. The doing of roofing, the doing of your job is not what builds a business. That just fulfills your promise. You promised to give them a great roof. That's all labor does, is fulfill upon that promise. Making the promise and getting that promise in front of the right people is what builds businesses.
Love that. So should roofing company focus their efforts there as opposed to trying to go out and scrounge up some leads from different sources? You got to understand that you are not in the roofing business. You're in the marketing of a roofing business. That's where you're actually at. This is a phrase from my friend and mentor Joe Polish, who used to teach carpet cleaners, and he would say to them, "You're not a carpet cleaner. You're not in the business of cleaning carpets. What you're in the business of is marketing the cleaning of carpets." And that is a major distinction, because if you look at your business and say, how do I get my labor in front of the right people? And you focus most of your energy there. And then as long as you do deliver upon your promise, you will build a great company. That's a really, really good way to think about it. Yeah, I would say you're in the business of marketing your services. You're in the business of client service, leadership, leading your team, building a culture, and things like that. Those are the key things. Would you tack those things on as well?
Yeah, after you've got business, right? So most people focus on I need business, so I do my labor. And if I do a good enough job with my labor, I'll get referrals and I'll be able to live that way. It doesn't usually work that way. You got to ask for referrals. You've got to have referral systems to even make that work. And then the other is sales. Oh, I need business now, so I'll just do sales activities. I'll knock on doors. I'll pester people. I'll cold call people. I'll spam them with email. I'll spam them on social media and say, hey, you want a roof? Hey, you want a roof? Hey, you want a roof? And one of them is going to say yes. And then that's how I'm going to build my business, right? after you get past that desperation phase, that should only exist at the very beginning of starting a company. After that, it's all marketing that company. And as your company grows and you start putting more people in the right seats to get this machine going in the right direction, that's when you start focusing on the other aspects: process, procedure, policy, and leadership. And really culture building. Like those things are the things that make a great company last forever. But you've got to get there by getting the right customers in the door. Because if you have the wrong customers coming in the door, you're going to burn out all your people. You're going to have a terrible culture. You're going to have terrible procedures because you're going to jump through hoops to obey the commands of these terrible customers. So if we get the right people, the right customers working with our good team, then we can build a great company.
Awesome. And you're never going to get those right customers and build that company the way that you want by buying leads. Like it's just not going to happen. You're going to burn out before you ever see any inkling of success or realizing the vision that you're after. So people will say, all right, well that makes sense. How about social media? How about Facebook? I hear Facebook is really good for lead gen. I hear it's a great way to get customers. And it is. But there's a big but there. It's not about, hey, how much can I pay and how many leads can I get? It's not like an ATM, like a leads ATM. You're not buying leads from Facebook or Instagram. It's social media is a place to build your brand. And I still see this happening where roofing company owners again will go in and post and they'll be like, all right, well how about this Facebook thing? Like, what are you getting as far as cost per lead? Like, can I get leads for $40? Like, it's not a lead broker mechanism. It's a brand building mechanism. There's a lot more that goes into it. Yeah, we train on social media advertising where you're actually doing paid ad campaigns to reach thousands or tens of thousands or in some cases hundreds of thousands of people in your market. But you can't do that without doing the things that we've been talking about in this episode so far. Building your brand, getting referrals, asking for referrals, sharing value, letting people know that you actually exist. And then if you want to go out and amplify the messages that you're already putting out there, reach thousands of more people, then you can do that with paid ads. But it's not like, hey, I'm going to start up today on a Thursday. I'm going to spend $1,000 a day on Facebook and I expect to get 25 leads. It just doesn't happen that way. I'm not sure it ever did, but there's this misconception that it does. And I really, really want to educate people on that. Don't go down that path. There's no fruit in that path.
Right. Well, that misconception still exists because you could do that up to about 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, it started dying off and it got harder and harder, partly because Facebook made it harder. And then other parts is that the market got burnt out on every marketer, not just roofing, just every marketer treating Facebook like an ATM. So for about a 2-year period, it was like printing money. But then after that, it got a lot harder and it got harder and harder. And then Facebook never fixed the fraud. It still exists. So there are click farms. There are people out there who make money by clicking on stuff. So your ads, filling out your lead form, is a way, even if it's not directly related to you, they're filling it out because they're getting paid for something else that they're doing on Facebook. And they need to make their account look like it's not spamming, right? They got to make their account look like it's not a fraudulent account. So and then there's just straight up click farms. So then you have all this that exists in Facebook, which has deteriorated the ability to just treat it like an ATM. But the one thing that never went away with Facebook, and it was great at the very beginning, was building your brand on Facebook, because your customers are there. Your customers are paying attention to content on Facebook. And that's what still makes it incredibly valuable. And then you just need to learn how to unlock that attention that already exists right there.
Really good stuff there. I wasn't aware of the I guess the depth of those click farms, and that makes sense. And I'm sure there's, like, most people listening to this or watching this are like, yeah, I've gotten leads before and I'm not able to get in touch with them. They're not reachable. We had this yesterday. One of our students on our group training call, she's like, yeah, we got 7 leads, 2 were good, 5 we just weren't able to get in touch with. And I was like, well, that does happen, unfortunately. It just so happened that she was running lead gen ads to a cold audience, which is not something that we'd recommend, which I'll touch on in a minute. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that does happen. But as Tim started getting into, you focus on building your audience and building your brand and building up an audience of people that know who you are. And then you can, if you have an offer, you have some promotion or a seasonal thing, or it's a storm or whatever it is, a financing special, then you can go out and put that offer in front of the audience that you've already built, that warm audience of people that are already familiar with your brand. And that's where lead gen comes into play. But don't expect to go out and blast out your financing offer, your free inspection offer, or your storm restoration offer to a cold audience of people who have never heard of you and who are, for the most part, not looking for your services. That's just a recipe for failure. But building your brand, getting people to know you, and then when you have an offer, you're going out and you're reaching out to the audience that you've already put in the time and the effort and the energy to build. That's where you find success with social media marketing. So getting back to Frank and his question about where do I find these magic unicorn leads, where do they exist? So number one, take a step back. Realize that you're not asking the right question. You want to find customers. You want to find people that are excited to want to do business with you. So the question is not how can I go out and buy leads, but how can I get more people in my market to know who I am? How can I do some actual marketing to get people to know who I am? So that's going to be video content. That's going to be sharing your work, showing off your team, involving other businesses and other people in your community, and cross marketing and cross promoting and things like that. Really providing value, providing education, information, knowledge, helping people make smart decisions about their property. All those different things, that's marketing. So if you're going to hire a marketing guy or a person or a marketing company, you should be paying them to help you do those things. You should not be paying them to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on Facebook or Instagram or Google without first doing those brand building things, because you're always going to be frustrated with that. So focus on marketing, on brand building, and the leads and the customers will follow, and they'll be the leads and the prospects and the customers that you actually want, versus some people from Home Advisor or Angie's List who have never heard of your company before. All right, guys, hope you got a lot of value out of that one. Hope you were able to extract a couple nuggets from there. And above everything else, I really hope that this episode shifted your mindset, shifted your paradigm around what it means to grow your roofing company, and around leads and around prospects and customers and marketing and everything like that. The roofing companies that are doing really well year in and year out, and we work with hundreds of them of all different sizes all over North America. The companies that are doing well consistently, they are not chasing leads. They're not going out there and looking for leads and buying leads. They might buy leads maybe once in a while if there's like a very unique situation, but for the most part, they've focused on building brand, on farming their market, on getting people to know who they are, and they're harvesting those seeds that they've been planting over the years and over the months. So if you've been in business longer than a year, you should not be buying leads. You should be home growing your customers and figuring out ways to build your brand and market your company, so you're attracting a consistent flow of ideal projects and customers and team members to come on board to your organization and really help you achieve the business of your dreams. So let us know in the comments what questions you have, what your takeaways were. Really excited to keep this conversation going, and we'll talk to you soon.